Now, what are the different types of motivation? Okay. There's a big argument about, intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation. We're going to break it down so everyone understands it after today. What is intrinsic motivation? Intrinsic motivation refers to the internal factors that drive individuals to engage in activities or pursue goals for their inherent satisfaction, personal interest, or inherent enjoyment. Okay? These motivations arise from within the individual rather than being driven by external rewards or pressure. Does that make sense? Okay, what are some examples and characteristics of intrinsic motivation? Personal enjoyments. Make yourself fall in love with the process and learn to enjoy the journey. I'm going to say that one more time. You know what the key word here is? The key word here is make yourself. Somebody, he started putting up videos, do what you love. And you know what people started doing? Nothing. No, I'm serious, because here's how people think about it. I just did this thing and I suck at it, so I don't love it. Everything you do in the beginning, you're not going to be good at it. It's the first time you're doing it, yes or no? So if you go into it thinking, this has to be love at first sight. The minute I touch these weights, that's going to be the day. That's what I know if it's for me or not. But the reality is, you have to make yourself enjoy these things. Does that make sense? That means you have to brainwash yourself into believing you like the things that you don't like doing. I don't know when brainwashing got a bad rep, but I think the word brain and wash are both positive things. Isn't it good to wash things? Okay, and most of our brains are pretty dirty anyways, because the world is naturally negative. No, I'm serious. The world is naturally, so if you just let it be, you're gonna be a negative person. So you have to actually take part into brainwashing activities. And you know what part of that is? Making yourself believe certain things that benefit you. Because, and some of you go, well, Nima, I don't know, what if that's not who I am? You're already making yourself believe a bunch of things that are lies anyways. You believe that you're not smart enough. How do you know that's true? You believe that you're not good enough in one area or another. So you're already doing a great job of lying to yourself. Just lie about things that benefit you. You know what I used to say? When I came in this business, okay, in the financial industry, in that Burnaby office, I was a 19, 20-year-old kid. My only working experience was working at Starbucks for 2 months. And then the manager literally asked me to leave because I was such a bad employee. She's like, can you please quit? Like, we don't have a reason to fire you, but you're ruining our store. Is there anyway? And I felt a little bit of power, so I'm like, I'll think about it. And then I went home and I was, cause I felt like I'm in control now. Like, now she wants something from me. So I didn't quit actually. I stayed for a couple of days. And then one day I asked her, like, how much money do you make? And then that's when I quit. Literally, I just left that day. She told me, she's like, I make $42,000. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. She's like, but you're shift. I'm like, I'm not staying here for $12. I'm leaving. Now, some of you might think, wow, you're a terrible employee. I am. That's why I'm here for my own business. Okay? But here's the reality of it. When I came in this business, I had zero credibility to give anyone financial advice. Does that make sense? My financial advice to myself was spend whatever you get. So I was not like a financial advice. But you know what I kept telling myself? I'm Steve Jobs in the garage. That's literally what I would say. It doesn't make sense to you, it made sense to me. For me, I was like, I'm that guy who's gonna make it so big that these people are gonna brag that they were my first clients. Now, is there any truth to that? At that time, when I'm 19, no. But only one person needed to believe it, and that was me. And it made me walk into meetings with a different posture. I would walk in a meeting with 2 doctors, and their faces were like literally they would be smiling, and then they would see me and they like drop. This is literally an appointment. They're like, just curious, are your parents gonna be joining us or like what's they weren't trying to be, by the way, they were very nice people. They were not trying to be offensive, but I literally looked like I was 11. Okay, I don't blame. So they're like, is it just gonna be you or like, do you have like a supervisor? Is there some, I'm like, no, it's gonna be just me. And you guys are gonna love the information I'm gonna share with you. Where did that confidence come from? My brainwashing. Driving to that appointment, I'm like, dude, they gotta brag to their friends in like 5-10 years when I become so rich and successful. And guess what? That actually became a reality. They became my clients and they're still one of my clients that I enjoy with, and they're so happy about what I've done. But I chose to think that way. You know what else I could have also thought? I'm too young. They're not gonna take me seriously. They're gonna know that I'm a fraud. They're gonna know that I'm broke. I could have also had that self-doubt. It was a choice. And all of you have the exact same choice. No one's forcing you to think the thoughts that you do. You could literally think a bunch of delusional thoughts that actually benefit you. But I promise you, I made myself love this. For 2 years, I worked 12, 14 hours a day, and I was doing the most ridiculous activity that you shouldn't be doing, But I was willing to do it because it was the only thing that I knew. I was walking around malls 12, 14, 16 hours a day. Every single mall. Brentwood Mall, Coquitlam Mall, Park Royal, Cap Mall. I started to find malls that I don't even know if there were malls around. Right? Like I was at Brentwood, but Brentwood was under construction. There was like no parking space, right? And I would just walk around there with a little freaking pamphlet and I would talk to people. Hey, how are you? Like, just to make conversation. All day. Okay, I didn't have a Fitbit back then, but if I did, I was doing like 40,000 steps, I promise you. Okay, I got a car that had 50,000 kilometers on it. Within 2 years, I put 150,000 kilometers on it. If I was a truck driver, I would have driven less. But I was driving from mall to mall, people's houses. So ask yourself this question. What was the motivation that kept me going? It's because I brainwashed myself into believing that I enjoyed it. I said, this is the hustle. This is the grind. This is what's gonna give me the skill set that's gonna make me successful. I am preparing for my opportunity. If I keep getting better, they can't help but pay me. That was the constant thing that was going through my head. If I keep getting better, so I started falling in love with the process of getting better at what I do, not making money from it. Because I told myself, if I become the best, there's no way they can avoid paying me. Does that make sense? And guess what happened? I became so good. So when I came in this office, okay, with the environment that we have, with the leadership that we have, with the system that we have, within 6 months of just doing 2 invites a day, I had hit my 50K watch, and I had so many people booking meetings with me that I didn't have time to do invites anymore. So was I right or was I wrong? Here's what else I could have done. What a waste of time. I'm not making any money. No one here is making any money. Why am I even doing this? What's the point of me going to these? I could have also had that self-talk. It's a choice. So you gotta brainwash yourself into believing you love the things that right now you hate doing. Some of you don't want to study. And you know what you keep telling yourself? I gotta study the license. I gotta study this. It's so hard. It's so hard. You think that makes it easier? Here's what I would do if I was studying the license right now. Man, I'm gonna study this license just to get better at studying. That's it. I don't even want to get the license. I'm just gonna become the best at studying at things. So I would sit there with that objective to just get better at studying. How can I memorize this faster? How can I get these mock exams done faster? Can I come up with a method while I'm studying here to teach my team members? And it would be so exciting for me. Because now I'm not doing it to just get rid of something. I'm doing it to actually learn something, to grow. Curiosity and interest. Some of you hate inviting. You know why? Because you just want to do the invite just to do the invite. Why don't you do the invite from the point of view of getting curious about people? Instead of telling yourself, I gotta go and invite this person to make sure I book a meeting, go, you know what? I want to go get to know this person. I want to ask some good questions to see who they are. That's the curiosity and interest part, okay? Sense of competency and mastery. I talked about it already, right? That was my big motivation. Autonomy and personal control. The more responsible you feel, the more motivated you will be. Does that make sense? So if you feel like you don't have any control over your future, you're not going to be motivated. What's the point of trying if you're a victim that can't do anything about it? Does that make sense? So some people who say, I'm big boned or my genetics are bad or whatever, even if that's true, how does that motivate them to go to the gym and be healthy? That's called giving up. No one in my family was rich. No one in my family was rich. People say this all the time to themselves. And it's all BS. Who cares what people did in the past? Shouldn't this generation be better than the next generation? You know, one of the things that stood out to me so much was if you take someone that is a self-made millionaire and take everything away from them, put them in the middle of a desert, come back 3 years from now, they're a self-made millionaire again. That's what I wanted. I didn't want the money. Does that make sense? Because money's temporary. Who you become, that's permanent. Personal values and meaning. Intrinsic motivation can be driven by alignment with personal values, beliefs, or a sense of purpose. We're going to talk about how you're going to create your own purpose in a second. Individuals find meaning or fulfillment in activities that resonate with their core principles or contribute to something greater than themselves. My purpose that I created for myself, I didn't find it. It didn't hit me on the head while I was walking the street. Tooth fairy didn't come to my, dream and say, this is what you should do with your life. Right? So, because some of you are waiting for that. Some of you are like, you know what, in the movies it happened, maybe I'll take a pill and I'll be limitless. You won't. You have to create your own purpose. Okay? And you know how you create your own purpose? Brainwashing. So at the age of 19, here's the purpose that I created for myself. I said, I'm gonna reach my full potential And in the process, I'm gonna inspire other people to do the same thing. Does that make sense? I said my life mission isn't to make money, isn't to be the richest person, it's to become the best version I can be. So everything that I do has to be things that challenge me and get me out of my comfort zone and make me better. Does that make sense? And in the process, my hope is that I can inspire other people like Nima, who felt hopeless, who felt like they weren't gonna make it, who felt like they weren't good enough, and make them believe that they're good enough. I'm reading a book, well, I just finished it actually today, Man's Search for Meaning. And in the back of the book, when it's talking about the author, it says, my purpose in life is to help people find the purpose in theirs. That was the author's purpose. His purpose was to help people find the purpose in their life. But you see, when that was my purpose, walking around the malls now, what was that? It was just a challenge. A challenge so what can happen, so I can get better. Does that make sense? See, it's not hard to motivate yourself if you give the things that you do a meaning and why it should motivate you. So what is extrinsic motivation? Extrinsic motivation refers to factors that drive individuals to engage in activities or pursue goals based on external rewards, incentives, pressures. Unlike intrinsic motivation, which arises from within the individual, extrinsic motivation is influenced by external factors and tangible outcomes. I'm going to go through this pretty quick because it's pretty self-explanatory. External rewards, right? Extrinsic motivation often involves seeking external rewards, such as money, recognition, praise, grades, or tangible benefits, social approval or competition, avoidance of punishment or negative consequences, external goals or targets, rewards-based systems. Here's the reality, okay? A lot of people are too picky about what motivates them. Look, what motivates you doesn't need to go on the headline of a newspaper, okay? This is not like a way to show yourself how virtuous you are and how amazing you are so we can clap for you. My purpose is genuinely something that I connect with. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have it. But that's not my only purpose. I had a purpose when I came back in this business to make an extra $2,000 a month so I can buy a new car. I had a purpose when I was new to this business to make enough money so I can do it full time so I don't need a job. Make sense? I have 100 million little purposes that on the days that I need it, I push that reward system. I don't care if you're motivated extrinsically or intrinsically. As long as you're motivated, you're on the right track. The only difference is that extrinsic motivation are usually better for short term. Intrinsic motivation is better to keep you in the game long term. Does that make sense? But whatever motivates you, you win. Because motivation is a gift. So stop rejecting it. Oh, I'm not money motivated. I'm not either, but I wish I was. Every day I say, I wish I liked cars more. Because man, I would be so motivated to get so many cars. But I don't. I wish I was money motivated. I wish I was like money hungry, like I need more. I'm not, unfortunately. Some of you are like, well, that's good, you're virtuous. No, I'm just less motivated. So I wish I had it. Does that make sense? So whatever motivates you, thank God for it. Because it's genuinely a gift. So stop being picky about it. See, the key is to learn to motivate ourselves using both these mechanisms as effectively as possible. When you're new to something, it's hard to get motivated by an intrinsic purpose sometimes. So maybe the goal of making $3,000-4,000 a month just to go full time, that's what you need to get you going. And then when you make it, you can look around and be like, okay, do I want more or is this good enough for me? Does that make sense? So don't think that you need this audacious, huge, small goals will lead to big goals because every small goal that you achieve will give you the confidence to go after bigger ones.